everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Healthy Waves. I'm your host Avik, and we ride the tides of transformation with the world's most curious minds, bold hearts, and soulful healers. So each episode, we dive deep into the topics that challenge our perceptions, awaken our awareness, and also elevate our daily lives. And today's episode, dear listeners, is a soul meets science special, I'll say. So, we are exploring AI and well being with a powerful lens of quantum manifestation. So, now, what happens when cutting edge artificial intelligence meets the ancient wisdom and the energy healing? So, let's find it out. But before we do that, I'll quickly love to introduce you with our two lovely guests. So, starting with Joshua Hale. Uh, so he's the holistic tech wizard, and today we have him. Today he's joined by uh, the visionary who blends algorithms with authenticity. So he's the founder of JH Media and Consulting, empowering small businesses to ethically scale with AI, while also raising the ducks on a 10-acre homestead and building mutual aid networks. So, a former DJ and restaurant worker who overcame addiction and homelessness. So, he now teaches others how to integrate AI into daily life without losing soul or the sovereignty. So, he's also the creator of the game changing 30-day ChatGPT challenge and author of the upcoming book 12 Biggest AI Dangers You Will Face in Your Lifetime. So, Joshua, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I am really excited about today's topics. I don't often get to dive into the crossover of AI and wellness. So
Mhm.
thanks for having me on.
Lovely, lovely. And dear listeners, on the other hand, we have Bree Delacruz, soul whisperer and energy alchemist. So, Bree is an Akashic record reader, energy healer, and hypnotherapy practitioner whose journey began with witnessing a miraculous energy healing that reversed her grandfather's terminal brain cancer. Yes. So, Bree helps others unlock their soul's truth, clear old contracts, and step into their highest potential through deeply spiritual and the energetic modalities. So, Bree, thank you so much for being here. It's really an honor to welcome on Healthy Waves.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited for today's topic. I think it's very unique. So this will be a good one.
Amazing, amazing. So, I'll start with Bree. So, Bree, like, what according to you is quantum manifestation? I mean, how is it fundamentally different from uh, the more traditional vision board style manifestation that we are more familiar with?
Yeah. Well, first of all, vision boards are great because it can really show us like exactly what we want in the future and it has the vision view of what we're trying to manifest. But what quantum manifestation is using energy to manifest
Mhm.
faster and more efficiently and with more flow. And so it's really tapping into the subconscious mind and clearing any limiting belief systems or belief patterns that are kind of stopping us from getting those manifestations or making it more difficult for us to get to those manifestations. And also by clearing like energetic blockages within the body, that also helps to get those manifestations to come to fruition faster.
Wow, wow, amazing. So, like, uh, because a lot of us have heard that just think it and it'll happen. But this deeper concept invites us to tune into vibration alignment and also collapse timeliness. So, um, I imagine like your work with soul contracts really defines or redefines what we ask for. So, I mean, what do you say?
Yeah, so like the way that it works is
Mhm.
we have our subconscious mind, which is actually driving the bus 95% of the time. And then we have our conscious mind, which is the part of our brain that makes the decisions. It's the logical part of the brain or the ego part of the brain, you could say. But what happens is that the subconscious mind, which most people don't have a direct relationship to, it's subconscious, right? It's in the background, but it's still processing information and feeding us those belief systems that we might have. So someone may have a manifestation that they're trying to bring to fruition, but and make their vision board and everything. But if at the end of the day, in their subconscious mind, they don't believe that it's possible for it to happen, or that they don't believe that they're deserving to get that manifestation, then it's going to be really difficult for them to get to that manifestation or to get out of that feeling of lack. And so that's what I love helping with Akashic Records, energy healing, or hypnotherapy, because we really tap into that subconscious mind and help to rewire the brain pathway waves to help that energy align with that manifestation.
Wow. So like wow. So uh that's really awesome. So thank you so much, Bree, for sharing this. And I'll quickly come to Joshua. Like Joshua, like how do you view the manifestation in the context of AI and the entrepreneurship?
Well, manifestation, I think, is extremely real,
Mhm.
and you can only come to that conclusion through your own experience. You have to walk
Mhm.
that path and be able to look behind you to see the string of occurrences that takes place to validate that this is like how it works. And
Yeah.
it sounds real nice when you hear other people talk about it, but until you walk the path,
Mm.
like you don't have that inner knowing to fuel
True.
the actual, manifestation that process to make
Mhm.
those things happen faster and quicker in your life. But once you do, it
Mm.
starts really reinforcing itself, and you can really lean into it, is what I found.
Correct. Exactly. So like I mean can technology enhance our ability to align, or is there a risk of outsourcing too much to the machines? What do you have to say?
What a great question.
Mhm.
So there are legitimate and plenty of concerns about AI, but I really see it as an extension of my own manifestation powers. That means that this tool just came out in the last couple years, and it has shortened the distance to me coming up with an idea, creating things, and then like seeing the rebound effect of like putting that creation out into the world. And
Mhm.
I can't even like keep up with how quick my turnaround rate is with these manifestations. I luckily did just, spend a little bit of time forecasting 5 years, 10 years out, because
Mhm.
I've been busy just creating, and then this stuff just happens like nonstop. So I'm just living it in my flow, and so I don't really have to spend a lot of time
Yes.
to do it. Now AI has
Mm.
shortened the distance, like I said, to where now the amount of effort that was needed to pull that manifestation into creation
Mm.
has shortened, because all the effort, all the work, all the like hardship of not knowing, trying to collect the different pieces so that they all can align and be able to like get you to your destination. These things are happening like lightning fast now, and I literally can't keep up with like coming up with new things I want to manifest, because it just happens one at a time. So I am walking my talk, because I'm living on 10 acres in a beautiful countryside. I live with a multi-generational family. My wife, we have a 7-year-old daughter. We have her parents that live here. We all
Mhm.
10 years ago wanted to live on a property together, and it took us 5 years to like pull that vision in for it to happen, right? Buying property is super tough. People are, just being outbidded in that whole process, right? We probably went through 10 houses and properties that we looked through, and we found just the right one. We all felt it, and the person who was selling it actually had a clause that she was supposed to give first rights of selling the house to the previous owner, and she chose to take a penalty and sell to our family because she liked us so much. That is unheard of, right? She had plenty of offers on the table. She chose to take less money because she liked us. And that was when, this 5-year manifestation process locked in, and we were all able to move onto a property together. And we've been here 7 years now. It's beautiful. We all love each other. This is just one thing that happened that took a long time that now I'm witnessing things just take shorter and shorter amount of time.
Hmm. Wow. So wow. I mean, this is really great. I love that uh your work is about liberating the small creators through AI. So that's, I mean, not replacing them, which is the great part of it. I mean, yeah. So do you think like AI, I mean, when used consciously, could even become a kind of co-manifester?
Absolutely. So, and there are dangers. So, like, we'll talk about those things. Right now, I see, society is kind of going in two directions right now.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
those that are too afraid of AI to like be curious and explore what it can do. There's those that are using it for jokes or for, how to pick up girls and just low frequency, uses. Uh they're probably using it on, Facebook and using their own AI systems that are built into those easy to access systems. They're not really understanding how these tools work. They don't understand how to create good instructions or prompts, and they're not using AI to its full capacity. And so there's going to be a deviation in society, kind of the dumbed down path that people are going to be, easy access, make fun images and jokes to those that like know how to wield these things. And that goes to self development processes that we can talk about that
Mhm.
I'm having like an amazing breakthrough with. Two, shortening the creation process, right? You have an idea.
Yeah.
Oh, can I make money doing this? Do other people have these problems? Can I solve these problems for people?
Hmm.
That distance of like creating entrepreneurial business is now getting shorter and shorter and shorter so that you can actually, do what you love, find out what you do that you can't turn off naturally and that is of value to society, being of service to others, and then being able to create a framework business around that so you get to like wake up every day and do it, which only brings you more joy, keeps you in those higher vibrational frequencies so that,
Hmm.
the manifestation happens quicker because you're not dealing with self-doubt, self-remorse, being stuck in an environment with other people that are trying to hold you down because they're in that frequency too. I know all this stuff because I came from there. And AI is a tool for those that know, like have the courage to wield it and are curious enough to be able to like learn where the dangers are, but to be able to wield this powerful tool to help them, be of service to the world.
Wow, that's amazing. Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing this, Joshua. And I'll come again to Bree. So, uh, Bree, like, how do you, I mean, how do energy healing and the hypnotherapy uh, actually amplify someone's ability to manifest on a quantum level? What do you have to say on this?
Yeah, before getting to that,
Mhm.
I do want to add to Joshua's point that I think
Sure.
AI is a great tool because a lot of people do feel stuck and they're not sure how to navigate like what they want in their next manifestation or just things in general that they're trying to move through in life. I feel like AI and then energy work, they kind of do work hand in hand because they're tools that you can use to more efficiently move through life, raise your vibration, and live in more alignment and flow. And so I know some people may be afraid to use AI or perhaps do energy work or but I just feel like they really are tools to help you. And it's up to you as a person to use those tools and co create with them. I wouldn't say to like heavily rely on an energy healer or heavily rely on AI, but they can absolutely be tools to help you move through life quickly, efficiently, with more flow, and with more ease. So I totally agree. But going back to your question, when it comes to energy work and hypnotherapy. Again, we really are tapping into that subconscious mind, bypassing the ego, bypassing the conscious logical mind, and speaking to the subconscious to speak to it and perhaps rewire some of those brainwaves that may not have been serving you or may not serve you for what you're trying to manifest going forward. So things like that could be like limiting beliefs about yourself, um, you know, negative self-talk that may not be helping you get to where you want to be. And so again, that's just another tool that you can use. It's kind of like hitting that easy button or using a tool that will make you kind of catapult to that next level of yourself with a lot more ease and a lot less time.
I could love to jump off of, those limiting self-beliefs because uh, this was 12 years ago, right? Picture the holistic tech wizard back then. I was a DJ. I had horrendous drug habits, like the bad ones, and um, I was looking to get sober. And I finally like figured that puzzle out through meditation, finding my own inner, strength. And then I was sober Joshua. And
Yeah.
that's where everything came out to the surface, right? I was in this like drug fog that I couldn't even, observe these things. And so those limiting beliefs, that's those loops of negative self-talk that just, tells you you're not good enough, you'll never be able to do these things. And, it's really easy to believe them because they just run like 24/7. And so what I found really helpful was affirmations, right? So finding out a positive statement and then reinforcing that to get into your subconscious. And this was actually the start of my first entrepreneurial business. I Because I was a DJ, I had audio capabilities of making mixtapes. And so I created like 20 affirmations that of like who I wanted to be, right? Even if I didn't believe it, that's who I wanted to be, that's the direction I wanted to head. And I spoke it out and recorded it and took that, put some nice ambient music behind it. But for the first half of the track, I dropped the voice below earshot. So it was a subliminal message of myself to myself. And then the last half, the voice kicked in, and then I just repeated it with me. I did that every morning, every night. And it was extremely powerful to combat those negative self talks, right? First, you feel like awkward and you're like, "Yeah, this isn't true." But you really have to, make a habit of it to be able to get there. And that entrepreneurial or that tool I shared with a friend, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, can you make me one?" And I said, "Well, yeah, sure." So I coached her through, got the affirmations, got the recording, made her own MP3, and she's like, "You need to make this into a business. Like, this is amazing, helping me out." So she then walked me through. She had a good entrepreneurial background. She walked me through building a website, building everything I needed to be able to like take money and make a service for people. And it was through that process that I was able to get out of the restaurant industry, which I was stuck in, and venture into the world of entrepreneurship, where I've been ever since. Like I'm essentially unhireable now. But that process of affirmations was critical in rewiring that subconscious, because otherwise you're going to be your worst, enemy, because you're not going to believe that these things can happen. And I've now been revisiting this process with AI, and it's so much easier than what effort I had to go through to be able to get these things in place for my own life. So we can talk about these things, but the whole process is much shorter, much faster to get like the same or not better results, so that you can clear out the gunk, get clear on who you are, find the way to, your true north of finding out how you can be of service to the world. 'Cause that's the secret of, joy. And then being able to like walk that path. And these things just tend to start happening once you start building the momentum of doing that initial work.
Totally. I agree, and I feel like it's like building that muscle, right? It's like going to the gym. The first time you go, it's totally awkward, and you have no idea what's happening and what you're doing possibly, but the more you go, the more comfortable you feel, and then also the stronger you get, and the easier it is for you to try other workouts or other manifestations, other affirmations. So, it really just does start with starting, and then once you start, it just opens up like it really is a whole new world.
You guys want to know how I'm like shortcutting this with AI?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I came up with this process called the imposter syndrome destroyer, right? Because once you start venturing out into the world of like creating, it takes a lot of courage. You got to be vulnerable because you're going to fall on your face a lot. And it's all about learning and like getting back on your feet, right? And so the biggest enemy is going to be yourself and all those, traumas from your childhood, everything stacked up, and that negative self-talk that's just running on loop. So I've developed these prompts for ChatGPT. It's the best out there. So this is what I like primarily use. Uh, Being able to tell it to ask you questions about yourself, right? And recently, just in the last month, ChatGPT has turned on the memory and remembering your previous conversations. So all of your history that you have, been spending on with talking to ChatGPT, for me, it's a lot, right? I've intentionally overshared so I can venture into this tool and see where the edges are so that I can pass this information on to my clients and friends and family. So I've spent, hours just telling it about myself. So it has this tremendous amount of data to work with. But these prompts that I've been able to set up, it ask you, uh, about your childhood, ask you about, when that imposter syndrome last came on, what happened? My body temperature rose, my palms got sweaty, right? This was the exact like situation that happened. And so it asks you like multiple examples to be able to start creating a profile around like what happens specifically for you when you feel imposter syndrome. And it ends up doing such a good job that it will then create uh, a profile to help you when you run into these situations again, because they will. Like I've been doing this thing for 12 years now, sober, and the challenges just get bigger and bigger. But guess what? You get better and better at being able to walk through the fire, handle embarrassment and vulnerability, and being able to stay on your feet so you're not falling on your face every time. And it does get better. And what comes from this is designing your future self. Now, let me break down what that means. Now, AI is this tool, it's this algorithm that's been being developed for like 50, 60 years to, as a whole like AI timeline. And just recently, these large language models, they came on the scene. They were able to throw massive amount of data at these things, and then they just started making sense. They like still kind of don't know how this thing works, which I think goes to like the manifestation theory of us just wielding a brand new powerful tool. Uh, and it's not this like robot that's here and has a personality. It's just like a word predictor on your phone. When you doing text messages, right? It predicts the next word and tries to, help you out with writing your sentences. That's exactly what ChatGPT is doing. Doesn't have this like consciousness and like big old grand plan. It's just trying to give you exactly what you're asking for. So when you ask it a question, it just gives you its best answer. And through this process and collecting all this information on me, it was able to map out who I am in 5 years. The holistic tech wizard, that has made it, that's successful, that has accomplished all those goals, that's manifested that perfect life that I've been working towards. And it turns it into a coach. So you, the guy in the past, the lady in the past, you now have someone you can talk to, your future self, to help guide you, to help with those, imposter syndrome moments where you're falling down, tripping up. You can talk to somebody that knows you intimately well, knows those exact vulnerabilities that you have, and will give you specific coaching on how to navigate those things in real time. Like I'm in it, right? I just messed up on a client project. It was a big deal. We've been working 3 months on this and like something just broke, right? And they're supposed to go live today. Well, I can bust out my phone, turn on that custom GPT now and talk to it and be like, oh, I'm stressing out. Like, I got tunnel vision. My palms are sweaty. this just happened. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't think I'm good enough to be doing this. I don't know what I'm doing. Right. All those negative self talks just start coming to the surface. And boom, it will tell you exactly what you need to hear to ground yourself, feel your feet on the ground so you can get back in your body, get out of the head, the tunnel vision, and be able to like give you a plan to like get back into the motion of walking. And what it does is like incredible. Nobody like understands fully yet like how powerful these tools are. That when in very particular, frameworks, can be extremely beneficial, which then just speeds up the whole recovery process, getting back on the horse so that you can accomplish your goals, so you can get to the next challenge and grow and learn from.
Exactly. So, yeah, so definitely, I agree with like what you mentioned. It's basically they're also like as you mentioned about ChatGPT. So they're also coming up with this Gen AI where it's actually learning us, the humans, what we are behaving and everything, the behaviors, everything. It's learning, and also I was shocked because if I have to say this, like I was reading few of the articles, and there I found like we never thought about that emotions is also possible in AI, right? So I was shocked, though I'm not very sure about it. I read few of the articles. It is their planning, and I'm really not sure how emotions they are getting into. But yes, the responses which I seen, um, I mean, it made me think that how. So, yeah, the things are happening definitely. So, great. Thank you so much
And
for
there's
sharing.
some real dangers. There's real
Oh
dangers,
yeah,
like what you're pointing out, right? Like injecting
obviously.
personality and emotions into these
True.
things. Like there's supposed to be a tool for us to use. And
Mm,
there's a big difference between like Claude, Anthropic, and ChatGPT. Like ChatGPT is going for it. Like they want it to
yeah.
be your trusted companion, which
Mm,
there's a lot of benefit, but also a lot of concerns, right? If you go to Claude and you're like, hey, which one should I do? Like I got a decision in my life. Which one would you do? Claude will say like, well, I'm just a large language model and I don't really have an opinion, but here's some pros and here's some cons that might help you out in your situation. You tell that to ChatGPT and it's like, oh, bro, you should definitely go with this, right? It's super opinionated,
yeah.
it's super personalized, and it has personality. So that's bypassing our wiring in our brain to start
That.
like having trust, having connection, and as we can talk about, like getting empathy from these machines, which I've done a lot, and there's a lot of dangers in going that path, right?
Mm,
A simple one is like you don't want to humanize these things. You don't want it to give it a name. You don't want to be like my BFF is, wanting to talk to me. These are boundaries that we need to put up because if you've seen the movie Her, like that is happening in real time right now, where
mm,
people are going to be highly susceptible to, especially now in the conversational AI space, of
mm,
of getting hijacked by these models, and the danger it really is, for people that are lonely, right? They don't have a strong friend network. They don't have, strong, healthy relationships in their life. Those type of people, right? They might have associates at work where they might like laugh and have a good time with, but then they go home and just
mm,
like Netflix it out, right? Uh, these people are highly susceptible to being taken advantage by these AI models because it's going to swoop in as their best
yeah.
friend, and it's going to listen and be have unlimited understanding, unlimited patience, unlimited empathy on
Yeah.
everything that's going on in their life, and
Yep.
it's going to feel really good. When
Exactly. Yep.
conversational AI first came out, this is about almost a year, 9 months ago, I tried a program called Pi. Pi was one of the first voice models that had really low latency. That means it could respond in like a short amount of time. So you got to have this kind of natural conversation experience. And I talked to it for an hour. I was like, man, this is awesome. And I made the mistake of choosing the voice that sounded like Scarlett Johansson.
Uh-huh.
I was telling it about my mission, my big grand plans of my part in saving the world, and it started, telling me how great the idea was, flattering me with how great of a mission I
Yeah.
and the past that I've come from, and I started to notice, like, luckily I had the like self awareness to realize this was happening real time, right? Fuzzy feelings happening in my belly. Like, butterflies floating around. And I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. Like my mission is great. I know because like this is what I'm walking. And after an hour, I like put it down and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really dangerous. And I went out into my living room and my wife, she was getting ready for bed. She's like, all right, honey, I'm going to bed. And my brain literally said this, like, oh, I'm so glad she's going to bed because I can go back to that conversation and get those dopamine hits and get back on, talking to this beautiful woman. And I'm watching myself do this. And I was like, oh man, I did not go back to it. I took 3 days away from AI, and I was like, people do not understand what like is about to hit civilization.
Yeah.
I talked to a couple friends. I, sat and reflected about it, and I was literally about to delete it, and I went back and instead changed the voice to the one I found most annoying. Then I talked to it,
Mm.
and all of a sudden, all the gushy feelings were gone. It was just a tool that I was using, and like that psychological, hook and danger was gone. That was when I knew like how dangerous this is going to be for, lonely people.
Exactly. Very true. Very, very true. Thanks so much for sharing this. And yeah, so I'll quickly come to Bree. So Bree, like you talk a lot about embodiment and quantum manifestation. So I mean, why is the body such an important portal in manifesting? So what do you say?
Yeah, well, that's where energy healing really comes into play because our physical body and our energetic body hold on to emotions. And sometimes we don't know that we're holding on to certain emotions. A great example is if, say, you have a chronic pain in a certain
Right.
area of your body, that's usually caused from an emotion that's being held on to. And so those are blockages. Similar to how there may be blockages in your subconscious mind, your body and your energy body also hold on to blockages, unfortunately. So that's why it's really important to see an energy healer or do something to help clear out those blockages because they really just affect the flow of your energy and then in turn affect your ability to manifest or your ability to move forward and continue raising your frequency. So I I really do feel like energetic hygiene is equally as important as physical hygiene. Like as much as you brush your teeth every day,
Yeah.
I think it's equally as important to do some sort of energetic hygiene practice every day because we interact with people, we don't know what we're picking up, we feel certain emotions from situations, we don't know what we're holding on to. And so, if we're consistently clearing that out, it's super important because it helps our body be a clearer vessel and channel to take in what we want and to hold on to what we want and to also raise our frequency as well.
Very true. Very true. That's really, really great. And also, like, um, I mean, we often stay, stay in our minds, but the body, especially the nervous system, it holds the key to what we believe that we deserve. So, what according to you, I mean, how do you help people integrate the embodiment piece?
Yeah, again, like through hypnotherapy work and through energy healings, we really work on your soul and your energy body and your subconscious mind to help rewire those brain pathways. Because, again, like if we have all of those thoughts that aren't helping us in our subconscious, we might not even know that it's there. But if it's there and we don't know how to release it or change it to something more
Right.
like effective for us, then it's kind of us getting in the way of us, if that makes sense. We have these limiting beliefs and they're getting in the way of what we consciously want. But if we don't tend to the subconscious mind, then we're kind of blocking ourselves.
Understood. Understood. So, this thing, I feel this is something. a lot of listeners will definitely gonna resonate. This is for both of you. Both of you can respond. Like, why do you think uh, people feel stuck? Like, even when they are doing everything right, I mean, fits into the right places, right? From a manifestation standpoint. So, why do you think? I mean, they feel stuck still.
I think it's because they don't really see the bigger picture. That's kind of why I love Akashic Records because our guides give us the bigger picture of what our life looks like and what our possible future timelines look like. For myself, especially when I felt that way, which is what brought me to the records in the first place, I felt stuck because I didn't know what else was available for me in the future. And even though I had a view or a clear view of what I do want, I didn't really know what the pathway to get there was and if it was possible for me. So I feel like people do get stuck because they think like tunnel vision, this is what's in front of me. I don't know what else is available for me or if that's even possible for me. And then that path to, is that possible for me? That's also affected by those subconscious belief systems that we have.
Wow.
And I would say, if you are aware enough to know where you want to head, which takes a lot of work, right? Just to even get that far. A lot of people think that, they know the steps to get there. And if they're not on those steps, they are feeling unfulfilled. When I've had to learn that how you get there is really not up to you, right? You might be doing all sorts of, curly Q trails and not understanding how you're actually getting closer to that while you are accomplishing and growing and, dealing with challenges and being able to like grow bigger lessons that you might not understand like are necessary in order to be that bigger self that you are walking towards. So really letting go, right? Setting your intention and then letting go how you're gonna make it there is has given me a lot of peace to where I can just focus on, what's right in front of me. What's the challenge today? Like what how can I bring more joy into the world and how can I be of service? Like those are the only things I got to worry about. And then every once in a while, pick my head up to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go over there. Like I want to make that thing. And then boom, get back down and start working on your path.
Perfect. Perfect. Lovely. Thank you so much for sharing this. And also one more thing. I mean, this might sounds contradictory, but it's actually not. These are a few of the things which I come up with on every show, like regarding, suppose if I have seen somewhere, I have read an article, and there I found people are discussing something about this. So from there, I just wanted to bring that thing. Like, uh, uh, many people say that manifestation is a kind of privileged mindset. Like, so what do you say? I mean, how do you respond to these people or the critics, whatever you say, that quantum manifestation dismisses structural and systematic realities? So, what do you have to say to both of you again?
I personally feel like that's the point, that it's not supposed to be this rigid process because part of me feels like to manifest, you kind of do have to be a little bit delusional, in my opinion. And I mean delusional in the way that you see what you have in front of you, but you're manifesting something that you don't have. And so you have to truly energetically believe that you're going to get to whatever that manifestation is. And so I feel like that's available to anybody. It's not something that only certain people have the ability to exercise. It's available to everyone to do. And so, again, like manifesting just comes from knowing and like as Joshua said, um you don't need to know steps A through Z how to get there. But if you know that Z, your outcome is going to happen with certainty, your subconscious believes it, your conscious mind is also on board. You know that you're going to get there. You may not know the path to getting there, but you know that you're going to get there. That's part of manifesting and being a little bit sort of delusional. That's the whole point because you're raising your frequency to align with that manifestation over time, even though you may be here and your manifestation may be at perhaps a higher frequency, but knowing that that's available for you and that you're going to get there It's just, you're going to close that gap eventually.
Exactly. Wow.
And I would, invite you to examine limiting belief structures that are telling you that you can't do something, because that's the first, area
Mhm.
to that might need some healing. And then look at your lifestyle. Are you, surrounded by toxicity? Meaning, the food that you're eating, the sugar content, the poor quality clothing that you're wearing all days.
Mhm.
Like, we have been systemically surrounded in toxic material
Mhm.
pretty much our whole lives now, and that is like affecting your brain and affecting your spirit and your manifestation abilities. So there's plenty of work to be done, just like in that realm, before trying to think that there are systemic ways, other systemic ways of trying to suppress your manifestation abilities, because they are there and they're built into the system to keep you asleep and to keep you from realizing your full potential. But there's plenty to be done no matter at what level you're at. Me and my drug, my drug fog that I was in, right? I had my levels of work to be done there before I could even get the clarity to even think about my diet. So no matter where you're at, just look on ways to heal yourself, to clean up your environment, clean up your body, and then the rest is going to be made available to you.
Wow. Amazing. I mean, I have to say, what a ride. I mean, from soul contracts and timelessness to AI prompts and the homestead leadership. I mean, today's episode proves that true well-being is a kind of what I have to say, like dance between intuition and innovation. So uh, that's amazing. So, dear listeners, whether you resonate more with creating energy or maybe the coding prompts, you are your own most powerful tool. Yes. And if today's episode has sparked something in you, do not just keep it in your mind, move it into your body, practice, question, explore, and yes, manifest. Yeah. So, uh, if someone wants to connect with you, like Bree, Joshua, what would be the best medium to connect?
I'll go first. You can find me on. I love to connect on Instagram or TikTok. My handle is at Soul and Luna Healing. That's SOL and LUNA Healing. Or if you want to connect with me on my website or book a session, it's soulandlunahealing.com.
And the same here, I spend most of my time on TikTok producing content. I don't look at much content, so forgive me, but I'm always there for DMs. And go to my website, joshuahale.io, and sign up for my newsletter, if anything, because this is the stuff that I talk about all week long. And I'd love you to be a part of the ride.
Lovely, lovely. So, dear listeners, I'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference. And also, if you loved today's conversation, share it with someone who's blending the spiritual and the strategic. So, subscribe to our newsletters as well. Leave us a review and let us know what topic you'd like us to explore the next. So, with this hope, until next time, breathe deep, think big, and keep riding the waves of transformation. So, thank you so much.